Good. It's crazy busy and trying to juggle everything is really, really difficult. I'm like, even to be here for a few days, I find really, really hard.
I think all these things happen at the time they're meant to happen. I think, funny enough, if we had got together at the start when we were working together, because you know when you're working together first, you can kind of get on each other's nerves a wee bit.
Once hailed as a daring voice of comedy, today Patrick Kielty stands as a man caught in the crosswinds of fame, silence, and unspoken struggle. Once upon a time, he was the fearless entertainer who crossed oceans for love, a performer who held audiences spellbound across the UK and Ireland, and a comedian who wasn't afraid to lace laughter with politics and personal pain. But if you've watched him lately, something feels different. His public appearances carry a weight they never used to. His humor, once sharp and healing, now seems edged with tension. The smile feels thinner, the pause is longer. And behind the camera, whispers of distance, decisions.
So it wasn't your intention originally to go, because Kat was working?
Well, we're back and forward quite a lot, you know, so we're quite lucky that I'm able to do some work over here and she's able to do her work over there, and, you know, we spend quite a lot of time in the air.
And quiet withdrawal have left fans asking, how did Patrick, the man who built a career on boldness and heart, transform into someone so unreachable, even while standing in the spotlight? This is the untold unraveling of a career, a marriage, and a man who may have lost the very center that once held it all together. A love story written across the sky. It started in the most unlikely way, with a simple text, the kind you send a friend without thinking twice. But what Patrick Kielty did next would turn into one of the grandest gestures in modern celebrity romance. In 2012, Deeley was in Los Angeles, celebrating her birthday in style.
I said, I'll be there. So I got up at 5, jumped on a 6 o'clock flight from Ireland, got into Heathrow at 7, jumped on a 20 to 10 flight, got into 1:15, walked into the Beverly Hills Hotel. I said hi, she fell off the chair, and we've been together ever since.
Patrick, meanwhile, was in Belfast, oceans away. When she casually mentioned she'd be having lunch at the Beverly Hills Hotel, he didn't just send his wishes, he bought a ticket. On a whim. At 5 in the morning, he headed for the airport, boarded a flight to London, then jumped on another across the Atlantic, arriving in California just in time to walk through those hotel doors and sit beside her for that birthday meal. A gesture out of a romantic comedy, but this time, it was real. That single decision changed everything. A friendship that had simmered for years was transformed overnight into a romance, and soon after, into a lifelong commitment. In September 2012, in the heart of Rome, the two tied the knot in an intimate wedding that blended glamour with tenderness. To the world, they were a golden couple. Kat, the beloved UK presenter who conquered America with So You Think You Can Dance, and Patrick, the sharp-witted Northern Irish comedian who brought both humor and depth to every stage he graced. Together, they seemed unstoppable, humor, charm, and Hollywood sparkle rolled into one. For over a decade, Los Angeles became their home. Kat's career flourished in the US, while Patrick took a quieter but no less impactful path, touring, working in stand-up, producing acclaimed documentaries, and carving out space on British and Irish television and radio. Their family grew with the arrival of their sons, Milo and James Patrick, and for many years, the picture they painted was idyllic. Sunlit days, Hollywood parties, a strong marriage. At least, that's what it looked like from the outside. Patrick himself once admitted, unless someone was foolish enough to get on a plane, it wouldn't have happened. He laughed, but beneath the humor was truth. That mad dash across the Atlantic was fate, timing, and boldness colliding. Yet, ironically, the very thing that brought them together, the willingness to cross distances, would later become the thing that tore them apart. When the Atlantic was no longer between them, something else was.
I think that I thought I was dealing with it. And I genuinely thought.
The quiet crumble. In an age when celebrity separations are loud, bitter, and filled with accusations, Patrick and Kat's split was the opposite. No drama, no finger-pointing, no muslinging. Just quiet distance. And maybe that silence is the hardest thing to explain. There was no single betrayal. No scandal to dissect. Instead, what unfolded was the slow erosion of presence. Two demanding careers pulling in opposite directions. 2 different cities, 2 different orbits. And with each year, fewer moments of togetherness. The love for their children remained steadfast, but marriage requires more than co-parenting. It requires shared space, shared time, shared life. And those threads were the first to fray. In interviews, they continued to project unity as parents. Both fiercely protected their children's privacy, both spoke of love and respect. But between them, the bond had shifted from husband and wife to something quieter, something less alive. The unraveling was invisible until it was undeniable. And for a man like Patrick, whose career thrived on digging beneath the surface, perhaps the hardest truth was the simplest. Sometimes things don't end in explosions. Sometimes they just fade. The last realization. Patrick Kielty has never been the kind of star who chased headlines. His career was built not on flash, but on conviction. From running a comedy club in Belfast to delivering documentaries like My Dad, The Peace Deal and Me, his work was always about honesty, even when it hurt. But in recent years, as his personal world drifted apart and his professional life faced controversies, he seemed caught between 2 identities, the fearless truth-teller and the man quietly trying to hold himself together. Meanwhile, Kat flourished in London's media spotlight, glowing in a new phase of her career. Their paths no longer ran alongside each other, they ran apart. Patrick himself once hinted at the imbalance. On a podcast, he admitted, "For a long time I genuinely thought I was in a 50-50 partnership." Then you realize you're actually a junior shareholder in a 50-50 partnership. I don't think you can have one decision maker. The words may have been casual, but they reveal the deeper truth. What he once believed to be equal had tilted, and perhaps he no longer felt he belonged in the life they had created. That may have been the final straw. Not one fight, not one decision, but the realization that sometimes love stories don't collapse. They simply drift until they no longer exist. Patrick Kielty was once the man who would leap across continents for a single birthday lunch. Today, he stands at the edge of a very different journey. One not measured in miles, but in rediscovery, reflection, and, maybe, healing. And for the audience who once saw him as a voice of both laughter and truth, the question lingers. Will he find his way back to the man who was unafraid to cross oceans for love? Or has the distance finally become too far? If you want more hidden truths behind the public faces we think we know, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Because the next story may just reveal another side to the celebrities we thought we understood.